Oh.
That's okay. Cheer up, buttercup.
Thanks, I feel 100 times better.
Bubble up. Bubble up.
Bubble up.
Bubble up. Bubble up. Bubble up. Bubble up. Bubble up. Bubble up. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Sorry, we were running a couple minutes behind.
I was trying to find spirituality jokes, and they're not funny. Are there not any of those?
Probably not.
That's sad.
I know. Good morning. Good morning, Valerie.
Good morning.
Hello.
Things are happening. Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah.
92 best spiritual
Whoa.
jokes.
Oh, what I just did there. I'm going to tap screen, share the live, see if we can get some friends up in her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no... Now I want to... Okay. Guys, what size of pizza is the most spiritual? Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
Tell Halloween jokes.
Oh, that would be good.
I don't have any of those. What size of pizza is the most spiritual? Anybody? Any takers? Ready? A medium. Oh! Oh!
Ba-doom, boom.
Ba-doom, boom.
There you go, honey.
I'm tired of explaining to my spiritual guru how emails work. He just can't understand what attachments are. Ba-doom, boom. Okay, I like that one.
She's gonna have fun with this.
I took a spiritual guide to court for crashing into my car. They tried to claim it was an accident. I said there are no accidents. They said they didn't think they said they didn't think they would hit my car because they were on a spiritual plane. I said you should have gone to a higher plane. That's terrible. Yeah. My ex told me her spiritual animal was a tiger, but it turned out it was a cheetah. It was the cheetah.
Cheater?
Like a cheater?
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah. And that's lovely. Good morning, good morning, good morning. We are just trying to get ourselves together, y'all.
People seem to like me more now that I say I'm a spiritual person, as compared to before when I used the term alcoholic instead. These are terrible. What did the spiritual race car driver say to his mother? Oh, this one's cute.
I don't know.
What did the spiritual race car driver say to his mother? I have a good car, Ma. Oh. Karma.
And that's something.
Mm-hmm. If you loiter in a Tibetan spiritual leader's sandwich shop every day, then you dilly-dally in the Dolly's Deli Daily.
Ooh.
My yoga teacher said that downward dog will take one to a place of spiritual revolution.
I was like, whoa, where are you going now?
You know downward dog, you little hussy. My yoga teacher said that downward dog will take you to a place of spiritual revelation. That's a big stretch. That's terrible.
Sorry guys, I'm just looking for, there's a sheet that I need and I'm trying to find it and I can't find it. Okay. All right. Well. Hello, Kay. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome in. Alza. Hello. Good morning, Martin. Good morning.
That's terrible. Did you hear the one about the Buddhist monk who almost achieved total spiritual enlightenment? He only made it to nirvana.
Nirvana. She's trying to tell spiritual jokes. They are terrible.
I wanted spiritual guidance, but all she did was stare at my feet. She was trying to read my soul. That's terrible.
Hold on. I think I almost found it. This better be it.
This one's terrible. My great-grandfather is a really spiritual person. He's dead.
What?
I don't think there are enough of these. what is the most spiritual letter? The letter G? What does that mean?
The G spot.
Yeah! Oh my God, babe.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
All right.
It just comes out.
Put these away.
Yeah. Let's that last one sounded like an anti-joke.
This one's terrible. Should I say these out loud? It's probably going to bring down the vibe.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
So how's everyone doing today?
How's everyone doing?
How is everyone doing today? I'm trying to get this one pumped up. This one. Because she's struggling a little bit this morning.
Kids.
Yeah.
Kids. That's all I got to say.
Great so far. Can't complain. Good.
Awesome. Thank you for leaving. I think it was you, Martin, left a comment on our podcast. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, guys, if you do check out the podcast, please leave us a rating, whatever it is. Just please take a sec. All you have to do is click the little button with the stars and just pick how many stars you think it deserves. And we are like, we love a lot of stars, but like if we would take 4 would be okay, but 5 ideal. So if you would do that, we would love that, guys. Thank you so much if you haven't already. Fix your crown, queen.
Talking to you.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I just feel I feel like I have some old anger coming up because I've been just like,
oh no,
a beautiful message last night. The last night was losing hope. Oh no, I'm glad you had beautiful messages.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Are you in a better place today? Feeling better? Do you want to talk about it?
Do you?
Do you want to talk about it?
We all have the ups and downs. It's part of the ride,
Yes, we do.
And it's good. You can't have the ups without the downs. So but the thing is, you want to welcome the downs, knowing that they are the segue to the ups, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So
we've been doing a journaling thing lately, the two of us, and the 369 what is it called? 369 journal.
369 journal, yeah.
And
has anyone heard of that?
And it's been talking about, what was it that we were like, oh, we have to remember to do this. The power of I am. So if you guys are not, do you guys watch your thoughts? Watch what you say out loud? I've seen TikToks. Do you guys watch what you're saying out loud? The power of what you say. So they say words are spelling, that's why it's called spelling. What you say is putting energy out there and creating your reality. So you want to be really careful about what you say as far as I am such and such. But one of the things that we love to teach within our coaching program is we teach transitional affirmations. So there are times when you might say I am abundant, I am happy, I'm peaceful, and you're like, no, I'm not. Yeah, you don't feel it. Yeah. So you can use transitional affirmations, which are kind of in between, saying I am getting better every day. Yeah. I am healthier every day. What's your next step? Yeah. That your mind, that your mind is going to believe it, because that is one of the biggest aspects of manifestation and just creating your life, right? Is having to solidly believe what it is you're telling yourself. And know that with certainty. When you say, I am tired, you know that you're tired, okay? Because you can feel it. As soon as you said that, my eyes started to close. I'm like, stop spelling. Stop spelling for me. I am Harry Potter. Stop spelling me. Kay said, yes, I like that. Building yourself up. Yeah. Yeah, because I always struggled with that. I don't know if that's... I think if that's really a thing anywhere else. I mean, I've always said that for myself. I was like, well, then I'm going to transition into this. And so I started calling it transitional affirmations. You came up with that term? Yeah. Oh, that is very, very, very hot. Thanks. I try. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, I need to go to the outskirts of my limits to where I know that it's possible, and then go from there. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I can do this. So if you find yourself in that same situation where you're like,
I'm trying to, if I'm like, I am happy and abundant, you're like, but no, you're not. You know? Then say, I desire happiness and I'm working towards achieving that. See what I'm saying?
I like the everyday
You believe
thing, too,
that,
like,
right? And it starts.
Yeah,
it begins,
every day
it
I'm
begins.
working more towards my happiness. So every day I become more peaceful. Every day I become more abundant, you know?
Yeah.
Every day I align more and more with, like, my soul self.
Right. The trick is, don't lose sight of your growth game, though. Okay? So when you start to believe that, you need to keep upgrading it and keep challenging yourself to reach higher and higher outside that box and allow your mind to believe it. Strengthen that belief system within yourself.
Thanks, Cassie. No worries.
No worries, girl. No worries.
We weren't doing any work last night anyway. So today is perfect. Thank you. I hope you did not stress about it. Hope you did not stress. We just want to get them sent out so that they don't take too long to get to you guys. So Cassie is joining us this weekend for our class, and we are so excited to work with you face to face. We're so excited.
Yes, we are.
So if you guys haven't joined yet, our Shadow Work Mastery class is on in the link in our profile, and we got 2 days till it happens. This is a 2-day countdown, or 1 day. Yeah, it's on Saturday. This Saturday and next Saturday.
We got a 1 day countdown.
We do.
One more day.
Yeah.
Wow.
48 hours technically, because it's in two mornings, 2 wake ups.
If 2 wake ups. Yeah. It's funny. We do that with our birds because what is it?
Yay!
Yay! We're excited too. We're super excited.
Moons.
Yeah.
When you have animals, you can tell them how long you'll be away by explaining it by the moon cycles. So you tell them we'll be gone for 2 moons.
Yeah.
That's what I had heard, learned that from a friend of mine who's a animal communicator. She's like, tell them how many moons you'll be gone instead of nights. Mm-hmm. And what else?
So we do that with our birds, and we used to do that with our dog.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, because they don't know, they don't fully understand. They're like, you're leaving, and I don't understand. And then, so you can tell them how many moons you'll be gone, and it helps them feel more secure when you're gone.
Yeah.
Know when to expect you. They listen. They do. So, anyway. Yeah, isn't that cute? We've had times where they respond, they've responded, either through an animal communicator or through us, where they, with appreciation, I feel like.
Yeah.
You can just tell that they appreciate it. They're more calm. Especially, with dogs, they get so, amped up when you're going on vacation or something. It does help. I think they still get on edge, but, What you doing?
I'm trying to find... I was trying to see if I could find the... What is this? Sorry, we're all quiet.
I know, right?
I'm tired. We don't have to talk every second of every minute.
We don't.
But we feel like it gets quiet, and we're like, guys,
Hi, Autumn.
Sorry, guys, we don't want to be all quiet on you. I was trying to find...
Kay said, I always talk to my cat before I leave. I feel so bad he'll be alone. TVs don't stay on anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I ended up getting for my dog? And it's funny enough. I used it up until I started going through a divorce, and then I had to turn it off because my now ex-husband had access to the video on there. But they have these little machines and it was the coolest thing ever, but it was
to talk to them?
Yeah, it was had Wi-Fi.
Like a monitor, right?
Yeah, it had
monitor,
a video.
Yeah.
And you could talk to them, and then it would you could
do that with your
FaceTime on
phone
that.
now,
So it
can't
would
you?
yeah, but this stays on their level and it spits out treats.
Really?
Yeah, they used to spit out treats, and Zoe freaking loved that thing. And it's real durable because she was a German Shepherd. She didn't break into it.
Really?
So,
how do you spit out treats?
Because I could do that from my phone. I'd hit it on the app, and it would dispense the treats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was pretty awesome. Thank you.
I talk to my cats like people. It drives my family nuts. They won't respond. It's not for me. Yeah, right? You talk to them how it feels good. It's so hilarious.
So what is anybody... Let's talk about you. And no.
Don't.
I stopped myself. When the lyrics caught up with my conscience, I was like, yeah, let's not do that.
We probably should, though. We could talk about sex. Do you guys want to talk about sex? Sexual healing? What were you going to say?
Do you guys?
We need to actually.
Yeah.
That's
Do
on the
you
list,
all-
the to-do list, sexual healing.
Do you all realize how spiritual sex is meant to be and what it's used for? Let's talk about you and me. I know, right?
No, really. It's a really important
It is super, super important.
because it's the energy of creation.
Yeah.
So when you're in any type of act of sexual intent, and you're like, it's also a way to, it's a place that we allow ourselves to be like creative and childlike. If we're in the safe environment, a safe environment where we feel like able to connect with somebody or ourselves and create, it's a place that one of the only places that we allow ourselves to fully just like follow our body and not get tied in with our brains. Now, this is, again, like I know a lot of us get tired in with our brains, and I've definitely experienced that in the past. But when you can fully let go, it is one of the only places that you let your instincts just take over and let your body flow and your energy flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're actually what are we gonna turn that into? We've talked about it for so long,
don't
and then we
know.
started adding it in. We started building it to go into our big course, but I don't know if we're gonna put it
I think
in
it's
there
a
and just
section
make
in
its own thing.
Yeah, like sexual healing. Baby. Yeah, because it's so
There's
powerful. It's
Yeah.
so powerful.
Yeah, there is a song about it.
I know. Think of what it is, though. Like, it's not... I'm sorry. Did you want to talk about something
No.
different?
You keep talking, and I'm gonna
Okay.
keep looking for what I'm trying to find.
When you connect with your sexual energy, you're creating from... You're bringing energy up from the root. Is it Kundalini also is used?
Well, that's what you're
activating
using.
Kundalini.
Your Kundalini.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's extremely healing. So when I was learning energy medicine, one of the things that they told us was because one of the things you do in energy medicine is you check people's energy field with little like tests and things to see if anything's out of balance. And they were like, always ask people if you test everything on them and it's all, everything is balanced. Ask them if they just had sex before they came to see you. It was that, and there was something else, like if they did something or if they had sex, because they were like, that will balance all of your energy for the time after it. So you really do like ignite all of your chakras. Everything starts flowing, and a lot of it's just because it's a place where you connect back to yourself and you connect back to your creation, right? Your ability to create. We're all creators. God is a creator, source is creator, creation. And so when we are in a state of creation, we are more connected to God's source.
Mm-hmm. That's something good to talk about. Can you come in front of me?
Fine.
Thank you. Ah, yes. Okay. Who here, that's awesome, Asia. Asia said, I've been doing Kundalini yoga for a few weeks. It helps. Who here has anyone here experienced Kundalini rising?
How would they know that they have?
Oh, you know. You know. And if not, if you think, like, if anyone needs to know, like, what that is, I can
Explain. Not yet.
I'm not the best at explaining things. I can explain how I went through it.
I don't know how to explain it. I know that I don't know if your experience was a typical experience. Can you elaborate? Yeah. I mean, I felt that I don't know.
Okay. So, well, let's look up the definition.
Okay.
I'm just curious. Because, like, I feel like you'll know because I had a Kundalini awakening, so...
Definition Kundalini awakening or just Kundalini?
Do Kundalini... Let's do both. Let's do Kundalini...
Well, in Hinduism, Kundalini is a form of divine feminine energy believed to be located at the base of the spine, in the Muladhara. It is an important concept in Shaiva Tantra, where it is believed to be a force or power associated with the divine feminine or the formless aspect of the goddess. So it's a powerful experience in enhanced self-awareness. An awakening can instigate long-term changes, feelings of blissfulness, enhanced psychic abilities.
Okay, that makes more sense. Okay.
Yeah,
so
the bliss feeling.
The bliss feeling, it is like straight up like, it's like, it really is like a nirvana type feeling, if that's the best way that I could put it. And it is. It's just pure like bliss.
Here you go.
And you feel like Alice in Wonderland or Snow White walking through, like I'm not even kidding you. Like Kundalini awakening symptoms. Thank you, honey.
Anytime.
You feel a spiritual connection with the divine that transcends the ego. You are bathed in bliss and boundless love. It's big, yeah. You experience periods of oneness where your compassion for humanity increases. You tap into extrasensory abilities and or develop extraordinary gifts. Okay, so that is all true.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hold on. Like a time stop type of experience. That happens, Kay. That happens in it.
Yeah.
I want to explain. Boy, all right, this is what we're talking about today because I got stories for you.
Perfect. I'm going to go get my coffee.
Okay. I experienced something, but I don't know what it was. I feel like everyone else's was cooler. Well, it's hold on. No time stops, but I passed out during meditation. Oh, wow. It was the lowest low for sure. Okay, so everybody's experience with this is different, okay? But if you haven't experienced Kundalini, it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you, okay? There's nothing wrong with you at all. That's when I saw the Sun Lady. Okay, see? It opens up, I don't know how to explain this. It's not even like it opens up a portal that you walk into. You're just in a whole nother dimension, frequency experience. So I'm trying to think of how let me tell you all my stories of it. And then you guys, if you guys have them, put them in here. Show me your experiences. But, for me, which I think, I don't know if I've talked about, have I explained to y'all my awakening on here? I can't remember. Between this and the podcast. I know I didn't put it in the podcast yet, but.
Oh, yeah, you have to.
Yeah, I know. Don't
go into too much detail.
Yeah, I'm not. No, actually, no. My God day was not my awakening.
It was kind of a second awakening.
Yeah, I think I've had a few awakenings. I think I'm going through one right now, honestly. I'm fucking being birthed, man. Okay, so in my spiritual awakening, it was back in 2013. I actually remember the day, okay, because this shit's crazy. It was December 18th, 2013. And it was cold. It was freaking cold that day. I woke up. I'm getting ready. There's ice all over the car. I'm trying to get it all cleaned up. I go outside and I start to feel this this, how do I explain this? This is good. This is going to help me prepare this to tell my story. It's almost like, when you're when you're watching a movie, the feeling that you get from being the observer. It's the best way to put it. I was all of a sudden observing myself as though I was in the beginning of a movie. I'm like, this is really weird. This is kind of odd, right? Get the car cleaned off and come in, start getting the kids ready. All of a sudden I start seeing these numbers popping in my head. And I'm like, maybe I'm supposed to play the lottery. Maybe that's what it is. I really thought I was supposed to play the lottery. Then my best friend texts me, hello, brother, hello. My brother in Christ is into the building. Everyone. And she was like, I feel like we should play the lottery. And I'm like, oh my gosh, right? Weird. I'm like, we're supposed to play the lottery. I really thought we are about to hit the lottery because we both had this experience. And I was pumped up. I was excited. So we're trying to figure out the numbers because I was I see these numbers in my head. I don't know which order they go in, blah, blah, blah. My day continues to go on and on. It begins to get more and more somatic okay? And I'm like, what is this? Like, what is this? I go to get my daughter from school. And one of her friends' moms, came to me and was like, can we have Marley over for a sleepover? Number one, I did not have a good feeling about this chick. I didn't really like her. Not that I didn't like her. I didn't trust her. I didn't trust her at all. Like, her energy was like really, really off. And I wasn't like, I didn't know too much about energy at this point. Or at least like aware of like what I was doing. I mean, I did because of my clairvoyance, but, my intuition, but on to the extent that I know it now. And if I get too winded, like, just tell me.
I'm just hanging out.
Okay, so...
But you're going to put this story in the podcast, so...
Yeah, I am. So I'm trying to leave out stuff, but so that you guys
leaving stuff
don't
out.
get bored. Yeah. So anyways.
They like the story.
Towards the end of the afternoon, it just continued to build and build and build and build and build. And then, what? Chris. Seriously. You do it like every time. That was like perfect, though.
It was.
Perfect.
And I've been... I had a message yesterday and it was confirmed with feathers, so you just extra confirmed it for me. So that was really cool. Thank you.
So anyways, I did end up like letting her go. I was like freaking out the whole time. All of a sudden now I'm at the climax of this movie. Now my whole day is like turned into a movie. I get home. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out like what I don't. So I finally get her. I come home. Numbers are shooting like everywhere around me. All of a sudden, like my reality is getting really sketch. Okay, I'm like, am I about to die? Am I about like what the hell is this? Like literally, I was watching my own movie. I was living it, but I was living my own movie, but everything felt like a movie.
Thanks, Chris.
And then, nonetheless, towards the end of the night, I kept trying to call my best friend because I'm like, oh my god, what is happening to me? What is happening? Like, could not get a hold of her, that was never a thing. I could always get a hold of her. Couldn't get a hold of her. And then I was cooking dinner. I was like, trying deep breathing. I'm like, it's okay. Series of numbers were like pop, 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 pop. And then bloop. Next thing I know, I'm like hovering over my body. I'm standing in my kitchen at the counter, and when I got popped out, I was up on like where the ceiling was at, and I could see myself, and I was like, I died. I'm dead. I died. Like, and I was like freaking out. Okay. And then all of a sudden I just heard all these people start like cheering, like this, like love came over me, which then I was like, yep, I for sure just died. Okay. And at the time, my kids and my then husband were in the living room right across from me. And I'm like, why am I not on the floor? Why am I still standing up? Like everything paused. Mm-hmm. And then, howdy.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for blowing us up. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And then, oh, wait a second. Are we supposed to be acting these out?
Are we?
Okay, hold on. I can do this after my story. Hold on. I can do this.
He's messing with us.
Yeah. So it was just overwhelming. The amount of love that I could feel and like this cheering. Like I felt like I was in Caesar's Palace type thing where, you know, you have all the people in the round coliseums and they're all like cheering you on. That's what it was like. And I could hear them. I couldn't see them, but I could hear it. And I could feel this love. And then I could hear people singing. Like I could hear like the angels singing. And all of a sudden I just heard, congratulations, you have awakened. I'm like, and that's the day that I met Archangel Raphael. And I've been with him ever since. Now, this led into, not saying all Kundalini awakenings are like that, okay?
I don't think it's a big party explosion for everybody, but I think it's really cool that happened for you.
It started like whatever it was coiling up, it was boiling like in the morning, you know, and as the day it was like a tea kettle. Man, that thing just went, and then that was it from there. But what they consider a Kundalini high, okay, so you're staying in this state of awareness, this frequency, for me, lasted for a little bit over 9 months. And when I was going through this. You literally don't need sleep. I don't, like, you don't, I would only sleep a couple hours a day. And at night, I would stay up. I was just immersed in everything. I'd go outside. Hopefully y'all have, I'm sure everyone in here at least has seen the Avatar. You know the movie The Avatar? Anyways, in the forest, the rainforest thing, or whatever, how, like, the plants, like, light up, okay? And, like, you can see, like, the stuff around them. Okay, that's what it was. So I would, like, hurry up. It took everything. I was like, get my kids to bed, get my kids to bed, get my kids to bed. And of course there was, like, shit popping up all around me all the time, but I'd get my kids to go to bed, and then I'd go sit outside, and I just was, like, looking around, because all the trees in my backyard and everything were, like, they would just, like, sparkle and light up, and I'm like, what is this? Right? But
the bioluminescent plants.
Yes.
Like said. The kingdom.
Yes. Yes. But then, like, some of the downfalls to this is I would go into the grocery store, and I don't know about where y'all are at, where all of you are, but in our grocery stores, you walk in and you walk into the produce section. Well, at the time, the biggest chain, like, around where I was living was a Super Walmart. So you walk into the Walmart, you got the produce section, but then you got the floral section. And I'd walk into the produce section, and you can see it almost looked and felt as though, like, all the produce and stuff had, like, a battery. Like, if you see, like, a battery, right? But it was, like, you could tell, like, its life force, like, how much life force was left in this produce. But then I'd get to the flower section, and I couldn't finish my shopping. I couldn't get past the flower section, because when I would walk in and you see all the plants and the flowers and stuff, they cry. And it was like I can still feel that. I can still feel how strong that was. Like, walking in, it was just like this, I can't even do it. It almost sounds like a whale call, but it's like like, they're just like, they're dying, dude. They're dying. And then, so eventually, after a few weeks of experiencing
this. No one's ever going to buy flowers in this line ever again.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you. I finally got to the point, because I couldn't handle it, that I just started buying all the flowers. But then I didn't have enough.
Agent just said buy them all.
Yeah, I did. I started buying them, and I started cutting off the ends and, like, trying to, like, save them, like the little herb things that they come in the little balls. I was buying those and planting those in my yard, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't continue to keep doing this, right? It was bad. It was bad. So I'm trying to think of, like, but everything has a frequency, and everything emits off a sound for their frequency. So I would just ride my bike all the time through this big park that was in the middle of our city, and they had all the flowers and the trees and everything, and, like, you could hear everything singing. Like, this shit's Kundalini. This is what this is, right? It taps you into our truest essence. Yeah. Like, really what it is.
And divine oneness, like, feeling the connection to all things.
So much so that I was like, I don't ever want to stop experiencing this, But with, with everything it comes...
You can't function as a human being when you're there, right?
Yeah. I really was. I was just, like, all on my own, No one really to, like, talk to about it, so I was just, like, experiencing it. But things would happen, like, I had this owl come and land. It was, like... It was still, like, daytime, but maybe, like, 4:00, which owls don't come. I've never seen an owl. This is the only owl I've ever seen in my entire life, okay? And I've lived near, like, the woods, the forest. This owl was huge. And I was out there, like, freaking out one day, because I was, like, I kept popping into different, like, portals. And it was, like, freaking me out. And I'm like, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I went outside and just started, like, praying about it. I'm, like, calling the angels, because, like, now I got all these angels around me all the time. And this
is not typical for everyone. Just
no.
FYI.
I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. And then, well, I met Mother God during my Kundalini awakening, too. But the owl came down. This owl was ginormous. He lands on this branch. And I hear him, woo, and I'm like, oh my God. Right? Because I can see his aura field and everything else. And I'm like, whoa. And then I was like, is that you? Is that you? Like, I was like, I was saying to the thing, I was like, which angel are you? Like, what? And I was like, no. And then I finally said telepathically, like in my head, I said, if you're here, if you're one of the angels, if you're bringing me a message, then turn around and look at me. That owl did a straight up poltergeist 360 head turn, like, and I was like, ah! And I ran in my house. I was like, oh my God. And then it flew off, and then that was it. But I would come out at night and there would be like branches of like evergreen, like just sitting in my seat. And that's when I started to learn to look up the symbolism of things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Asia wanted to know, was it literally 9 months or did it feel like 9 months?
It was like physically 9 months, almost 9.5 months that I went through this. But, yeah, I'm glad that I made it out of that.
Like birthing, like gestation.
Like understanding it. Oh, creation level off the freaking chain. I painted all the time. I would just scout. If I wasn't in the library reading about spirituality and reading about Christ and reading about like witchcraft and everything, anything and everything I could get my hands on, stuff was just being downloaded into me, poured. I was journaling constantly, all the time. That's when I was visited by, which Chris, I wanted to tell you about this because I was told it was my higher self, like oversoul, right? Because I could only see like this tiny little like nub of the nose, like right here, popped up, and it took up my entire that's all I could see. But it was stone-like, and it reminded me of like a Buddha stone type thing. But where was I going with this? I'm trying to.
Something that just popped up that you saw when you were.
Oh no, the creativity, the creativity stuff. So, I was going and like getting branches and building like a nest in my, like, you do shit that you're like, what? Now I've had people constantly commented on that. Oh my God, where did you get that? How did you do that? How, so on and so forth. It's beautiful things, but you just get sucked into it. It's a completely different world. You're in a completely different world. Simultaneously walking in this one with, your family and stuff.
And trying to like parent and all that stuff.
Yeah, that was insane.
Herself is bougie, is a bougie, sassy little thing.
Yes, she is.
Very sure of herself.
Yes, she is. She is a beast of a warrioress, let me tell you. Yeah, so Kundalini, there's like so many different experiences that, I mean, I could just go on and on and on about that. But that's why I was curious if anyone has experienced anything like that with like a Kundalini rising.
I've known a couple people to have these type of awakenings, and I think depending on where they're at in their healing process, sometimes things come out in a way that like I've had people kind of like who detach from reality temporarily, and people think that they've gone insane, and there are actually like clinical terms that they'll give people, like I think men specifically. My sister's ex-boyfriend went through this, and he was posting pictures on Instagram every day of these elaborate drawings he would do, and they were like, it was like an eye, the all-seeing eye, and then it was like stuff with like ETs and like all this stuff, and I was like, he's got like spiritual stuff in there, but you could tell that it was mixed with his own like kind of inner turmoil that was like come to the surface because of that. Mm-hmm. So I think he was like scared, but he was also in a state of oneness. Does that make sense? Like both. Yeah. And I had met somebody through, when people just like come into your path at the right time, in the right place. And I met this woman, and she had gone through the same thing. And I was able to kind of like tell her, like, this sounds like an awakening. And she was like, my family was having me committed. Like they were going to.
Yeah. A lot of people think when you see someone going through Kundalini awakening that they think they're like in psychosis. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And she was like, I thought it was because I was using too much rose oil. and then she came out of it, and things kind of balanced back out. But after that, she was like, she was on the path, like she was on the spiritual path, like doing it, just able to be a little bit more like grounded.
Yeah.
And I know that I like, when I was going through learning healing modalities, I learned reconnective healing, and I had this technique done on me called the reconnection, where somebody connects your meridians with the ley lines of the earth and the astral planes and all this stuff, and it's a really good feeling. But anyway, it's a 2-day process, and the first day it's kind of like opening you up, and then the second day they kind of like put you back together. And when I had it done, I couldn't drive home that day. They actually said you might not be able to drive home. And my then husband was there. He had it done too. He didn't have the same effect. He just slept through it. But thank God, because I couldn't drive, and because I was so spacey. And I got back to my sister's house because she was watching my kids, and she's like, "Are you drunk? Did you guys drink?" Because I was just like da-da-da talking, and I was excited. I was like, "Woo!" And I went home, and I remember being like, I can't make life happen. Like, how do I take care of my, I can't take care of my kids. I can't cook dinner. I just was but I felt like everything was like beautiful, and everything was like created just for me. Like, it felt like the sky was painted just for me. And then I went back, and I remember I was able to drive the next day. I drove back to this lady's house to do the second part of the protocol, the procedure. And I was driving, and I had the windows down. I was like, this is living. I was like, this is the best feeling ever. And then I got on her table, and wham, she shoved me back in my body. And I was like, oh. But it really, like, my gifts and ability, like, things really, like, picked up after that. Because you really can't live there for very long. I definitely could not function at all. And that was only a day. That was 24 hours. I couldn't function. Yeah,
mine was, I don't know how I made it as long as I did. But I tell you, the higher you go up, the harder you fall. And that's one of those things that, like, I have seen has been common theme when it comes to Kundalini, is that when you are experiencing a Kundalini, when you're up on this high and you come off of it, you drop down, and that's when you go into what's called a dark night of the soul.
I think it's not so much like you're falling, cause it's the contrast. Because if you feel, it's kind of like doing drugs. If you ever have done, like, certain drugs make you feel really good, and they call it high for a reason. You're high, and then the next day you feel depressed, and it's because the contrast between where you are and where you are now, even though this is normally your baseline, it's like, it's so drastic that it's like, ugh, Yeah. So does that make sense?
Yeah, and it was, I steadily, I'd say I probably, if I had to guess, because it felt really, really short of a time that it was just like, and done. I'd say maybe like a few days of that, like, coming down. And then I just went down. And you feel like, I needed that though. Like, I needed that because what happens is you're shown what you're capable of, and then you come back down. But when I came back down, there was a lot of, like, that surface level shit that I had that then was like, I went into, like, an immediate purge. I was like purging and purging. And
that was before we met, before we came together. And, like, really when we met and came together, that's when, like, a lot of the deep healing happened.
This happened, I went through my awakening probably like 9 years before I even met Lindsay.
And that was 2008, right? Was that? No, that was when the kids were born.
No.
When was it? We figured out that we were both kind of going through these things, like, simultaneously.
They were, like,
didn't know each other.
3. So, like, 2011?
Okay.
2010?
Yeah, that's when I started. That's when I finished my energy medicine classes and started practicing and started, like, gaining more, because I had just had both my kids, and I was like, all right, trying to get back on track and learn things and do all the things and learn healing modalities and all that. So we really did. It's funny, like, we started at the same time, and then we came together, and it was like a whole other awakening.
Yeah.
We were like, really thought we had it. We were like there, and no, we weren't even close. Which is why we teach what we teach now, because a lot of you guys might feel like, I've been doing this for a while, or I've been in this, or, and it's like, all of a sudden things are starting to, like, pick up because of the changing times, because of the energy, and we want to help you guys navigate through that, because we thought we had it too. And then all of a sudden things got real crazy, and we want to help you through it so that you don't have to struggle or feel scared or feel alone.
You have to it all happens in stages, right? And everything is a process. Everything is a process. Because that's one thing, going through that type of awakening and experiencing that afterwards, I think I was so depressed because I'm like, I don't want to be where I'm at now. I want to go back to where I was. Like, that was home. That was home, you know? But equally, it then gave me the drive to find that again. And I was like, I'm going to find this again one day. Like, that was like my goal for a long time. I was like, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get back to that, because that is real. That's my existence.
Yeah.
And so that really is what like sparked my, exponential growth that I was doing on my own at that time. Just, healing and purging. But, yeah.
Chris said, yes, my story is so long, so crazy. We would love to hear it sometime.
We would.
We would love to hear it. I would love to get more, I don't really know how we'd structure this, but get more people on to, share their awakening stories or, what they've been through, you know what I mean? Or on the podcast. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, let us know.
Well, we've been talking about doing that. We're going to make, a submission sheet that you can send to us to have you come on the podcast. So maybe that would be a good thing for you, Chris. You could do. Yeah. Because everyone's has gone through this or is definitely going through it now,
Right.
And the best message that we can put out there is that you're not alone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And especially because it is so different for everybody. Everyone's so different.
Oh, the sun god lady you have a drawing of that?
Oh, we have to check it out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I want to see that. You know what I was thinking? Let's see.
Definitely need a sense of direction sometimes. Yeah. And that's one of the things we strive for now is to give you guys that, because we didn't have that necessarily. We both had, I know Andrea started talking to the angels and they became her buddies, and I was just following where I was led with my just claircognizance, intuitive knowing. I just I need to do this. I need to do that. But it was I cannot tell you how many times I just looked up at the sky and pleaded, and I was I'm ready. I'm ready to live my purpose. I'm ready to do whatever it is I'm supposed to be doing. Just give it to me. Give it to me. Did you do that ever? Or differently? And I was just oh my God, I would pray and beg. I'm just utilize me. Because you, as a starseed, you come in knowing that you have a big job and you don't really know what that is. Every day. Yes.
I was too scared to do that because of what I was already going through. I was I don't.
No, really?
Yeah.
No, I just felt it was moving so slowly. And in hindsight, I could look back and be wow, I've come a long way. But I was not getting the guidance that I thought I should be getting. I wasn't seeing it. I wasn't understanding it. I can tell you, guys, the ones of you that are resonating with this, you are getting guidance. You are getting guidance. This is something that this is a whole section in our program, our coaching program, because, and I don't think any of our graduates are on here right now, but if any of our graduates hop on, and we'll ask them to jump in on this. That's one of the things that we teach is that the universe is constantly communicating with you and showing you where to go. And it comes about in a lot of subtle ways. So if we're waiting for it to come in clairaudience or clairvoyance or whatever, a lot of times we're missing all of these signs that are showing us and pointing us in the direction that we're supposed to go. Yeah. So in shows and movies, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But there's a whole array. It can be through body symptoms. It can be through signs and symbols. It can be through other people, mirroring, others mirroring.
Even people passing by and you hear if you guys haven't heard the in the podcast in my God Day part 2, there was one part where I was I'd walked back to my truck and this guy was just walking past, not talking to me, and he was read the signs, know the history, And that was like huge to me. I was like, what? What did he just say? Like that, it comes in all forms.
Like I still recite to myself something that I was riding. I think I told you guys like recently, I was riding my bike home from the yoga studio where I would do healing work, individual healing sessions. And this guy who I was a respected professor at my college, who I had when I was in college, he lived in the area and was walking. And I remembered I had him, and he waved me forward, like go past me, and he was walking. And he's like, go ahead. And he goes, and I was like, thank you. And he goes, gotta keep the momentum going. And I was in this space of I had like healing sessions booked, and I was like, yes, yes, yes. And I still say that to myself when things start to roll for like, especially with our business, I'm like, gotta keep the momentum going. And I hear his voice over and over. And it was literally like, probably meant nothing to him, you know, but he was that message in that moment. I still remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Carol. We can't wait for it either. We can't wait either.
Valerie, they are the elements. So,
there are two more on the other side of the window.
So I can show. So that's earth and
air.
Earth and air.
Earth, because it's a tree. Air. That one's water, and that's.
Or no, that's fire.
That's fire. Water. Earth.
Air.
Yeah, we have to see them all together to remember which one is which. Yeah. I know, aren't they pretty? I think you got them on Amazon, didn't you?
I can't remember if I got them on Amazon or Etsy. They were
probably Etsy.
But they're wood.
They smelled really weird when you got them because
they're burned. Wood. They're burned wood.
They stunk for a while, but once they aired out, they were like really beautiful.
Thank you. Carol, we can't wait either, girl.
Woo!
Excited.
Yay! But yeah, so that's right. So that's what I was saying was like I was putting it out there every day. Like what? Like give me my mission. Give me my mission. I was just looking for it to just like turn on one day, and I actually wanted to write a book. I was gonna write a book, and I was gonna call it "Flipping the Switch." And the goal of the book was to tell you that there's no like just flipping the switch and turning it on all of a sudden and then it's like on full force. Because if all your gifts, all your abilities, everything came on, like kind of how Andrea was saying, like she got a temporary time where everything came on full force and she couldn't function. You know, she wasn't in a space or capacity to even like turn this around and use it for other things other than like absorb for herself, which was important. But if everything came on all at once, we wouldn't know what to do with it. And it does for some people. Sometimes people have accidents and all of a sudden they come out of it and they have something, an ability they didn't have before. But it still takes them years to implement, like to figure it out, like implement it. I know like the guy who started Reconnective Healing, Dr. Eric Pearl, he had a healing done on him. He was a chiropractor, and all of a sudden he was able to heal people before he even touched them on his chiropractic table. And he wandered around searching, like all of a sudden this ability came on, but it wasn't like, oh good, now I have this ability, I can do things, I can help people. He was like, I'm confused, I don't understand. How do I use this? How do I like, what do I do with it? And so he just went around looking for other gurus to try to get somebody else to explain to him what was going on. And then he had to go inward and figure it out. So it's like, even if it were to come on right away, you'd still have to figure it out. You know? Yeah. So that's my book, Flipping the Switch. There's no switch.
There's still a process for sure.
I'm obsessed with trying to find clear signs. But yeah. So, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say where, if you, Asia, like the best thing to do is like set it and forget it. Because if you focus too hard on them, you'll miss them. Hands down. You'll miss them every single time. So just pay close attention to the ones that stand out to you. The ones that you're trying to like seek out, they never come the way they should, and it doesn't make sense. Keep going until you're like, well, you're brought, like all of a sudden brought into the present moment and it stands out to you. Or you get what I call like spirit feels, right? Write that down and then look into that, right? That's the best that you could do that would work. That would be beneficial for you. Because it's always when we try finding it, you're leaving your mark. You got to stay on your like your foundation, your mark. You stay there, and life is meant to come in and you experience what's around you, and then it leaves and you let it leave. That's what we mean, like, be open to everything but be attached to nothing. Because when you get attached to it, it's like a current, right? Like a wave, and it'll pull you right off of your foundation and take you out with it. And then you're out there swimming in the seas. The goal is to be like right here. Spirit feels. Yeah.
Spirit feels. Yeah. Have you experienced this spirit feels? Like, this is something
that's what we call it.
It's
like where you just get this like knowing when you see something, it's this like feeling it just magnetizes you and draws you right there, or you'll feel it in your body. Like sometimes it'll be like tingles, or you just like
feel lighter or happier.
Sense comes over you in your body where you automatically just get pulled right into the present moment, and you're like, I see that. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And you can ask spirit, like, go into meditation, do some deep breathing, and say, like, show me what it feels like when you're in my field. And like angels, show me what it feels like when you're in my field, or when I get confirmation from you.
Yeah.
And then wait and let the feeling come into your body and your awareness. It might feel like a little pinch. I used to get, some of my confirmation was it felt like I was getting little pinches on the backs of my arms, and that I called them angel pinches. And that was how I like would recognize, yes, this is a spirit feel. But there was one time I had a medium who I was working with. She was doing mediumship circle, and we were learning about mediumship. And she's like, stop and she's like, breathe. And she was like, ask, because I was like, I don't know if this is what I'm getting. I don't know. And she was like, ask them to show you what it, and for me, I feel things very easily. Ask them to show you what it feels like when they're in your field. And immediately I found this, like, felt this like opening in my chest, and it felt like happy and like beautiful and passionate. And I was like, I got it. Mm-hmm. So now when that comes in, I know that that's a spirit feel.
Yeah.
But it could be like a pressure on your shoulders. It could be a tingling sensation. It could be like a feeling of pressure. It could be anything. So yeah. But I've noticed, like, for instance, I've had the same hair straightener for like years. I love this thing, and it's worked forever. I've had it for years. And I was plugging it in last week. Never noticed this before, but on the side of the metal of the plug is a number. And I was plugging it in, and all of a sudden it was like my attention went, zoom, and I zeroed in on that number. And I knew in that moment that was a sign, because I was like, I've had this for years and I've never even noticed there was a number. But let me explain to you on the other side, like, what this looks like.
It's 11:11, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. There's a really good book, Lorna Byrne. She's like the angel lady. Lorna Byrne. She wrote these. She has beautiful books. She's Irish, and she's like, especially if you listen to audiobooks, it's not, I don't think it's her reading, but it's somebody with an Irish. It's just beautiful. Anyway, she would explain how she would see the angels interacting with people, because she sees everybody's angels, like, physically. And she would say how interesting it was. Like, she'll tell stories, and she's like telling a story about this man. She's at the library, and this man is on his computer, and he's frustrated because he's like, oh, I can't figure this out, this email, whatever. And she's like, and the angel is standing there by the computer screen going, right here, right here. And she's like, they literally are pointing things out to us. And if we are calm and centered, she's like, I'll watch people's eyes divert and look exactly where the angel's pointing. When they're in a state of stress, they often miss it. But when they're calm and they center themselves, they look right over, and they have no idea that they're following the angel's guidance that's helping them.
That's cool.
Isn't that cool? Like, beautiful.
Yeah.
So like, calm yourself, center yourself, and your team is guiding you and helping you hone in on what it is you need to be like looking at,
and that's why it's so important not to hold so tightly to things, because if something that you're like, I see it happening this way, I'm looking, if you're looking for clear signs, then that means you already have a preconceived notion in your mind of what that is going to look like. Essentially. Therefore, if it doesn't look like that, your mind's discounting it. And there's so many times where if we haven't already seen it, and then you have an angel pointing it out, you're going to miss it because you already haven't seen it, right? You're already looking for something that currently is not in your environment.
That's why we want to have a mind that is open to everything and attached to nothing.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Not attached to the outcome. Is that why you sometimes draw a blank stare? I think that's also when you get downloads of information too.
I was going to say, that's more
she
like...
She does it all the time. And
downloads.
We're like, where are you?
Yeah, are you asking like theoretically, or are you asking because you've seen me do it?
She does it a lot. Do you think grounding mats can enhance meditations? I think anything grounding in general is going to help you. It brings energy through you. So if you can move energy through you, then you have less stagnant and it's easier to receive.
I think too, it all depends on the type of person.
She didn't like the grounding mat.
I don't. And I have a hard time like laying still to meditate, but I don't want to be like moving and stuff. Your energy, for you, Valerie, personally, feels like you need to be moving. So I don't know if that resonates with you, but if that's the case, then, sitting still trying to meditate probably is not going to work well for you unless you're already in a stimulated environment, like trying to meditate by like a creek.
Something that's moving.
We
have a video.
Yeah.
It's kind of further back in our TikTok, but it's about meditation. And I was so surprised.
Hello,
Hi, Erin. I was so surprised when that video took off and people were like, oh my God, I didn't even realize this. But I thought this was common knowledge that meditation can happen in many different ways of like being. Like most of my clarity comes in when I'm in the shower or when I'm driving, because that's when my brain is like, especially if you're like busy, you have kids, whatever, you don't have a lot of downtime except for when you're driving by yourself or in the shower. And so a lot of times like those doing something with the body, that the body can take over on autopilot so that your brain can just do its thing, like just receive, and you have nothing else that you need to do. You often receive messages that way, and that is meditation. So driving in dreams. Dreams. Yeah. So,
driving is Valerie, do you find that you can meditate when you're driving? Because that's where you're sitting still and
you're still moving.
Things are moving.
Yeah,
if you are more on like open roads or like, you're not
somewhere
in the
that you've been
center
a lot
city
too.
where you have to constantly focus.
When I was younger, I used to play basketball by myself for hours, and I would be outside shooting hoops and not keeping track of any of the time or what I really was doing. It just was, thoughts would just move through me. And I didn't know that was me. That was my form of meditation. I would do it, especially if I was like feeling restless or whatever, like, and I didn't realize that that was spirit me allowing, sorry, my throat is like crazy, allowing information to come into me.
That's perfect.
So don't beat yourself up if you're having trouble deeply meditating.
It's okay. It's just like standardized education. There's not only one way of meditation that's going to work for everyone. It's so unique to you. So that's why it's like, find what works best for you. Like Valerie, how you're saying, yes. And then also in the shower. Now you've identified where you can slip into a meditative state. So now start setting intentions for when you're going to be getting in the shower, or when you are washing dishes, or when you are getting in the car and driving, okay? That's where it's like saying, okay, I'm going to work on focusing on this, like, while I'm driving, like, because, sorry, here we go. Your counsel's like, but she doesn't understand what meditation really is. So for you, do you think meditation is just like clearing your mind and it being completely quiet so that you can have extra sensorial experience?
I want to throw in while we're waiting for an answer. Erin, your mind slows down when you watch TV. I used to watch football with people because I could care less about football, but I could zone out while watching it, but still be occupied and get information. I would meditate during football. Just want to throw that out there. Something that you're not into, but you still watch.
Okay, she said yes. Okay, so I'm talking with the archangels now that are a part of your spirit council. Okay, you have a lot of energy that you don't clear during the day. So that is going to be one big thing that is going to help you tremendously is grounding and clearing your energy.
I have an idea for her too.
Okay, like throughout the day or whatnot, or if you know like you're about to go get in the shower. If you know you're going to get in the shower or you're about to drive, like just try to do like a grounding activity or like putting your feet on the ground, so on and so forth. If you can. If you can't, it's fine. You can visualize it too. Which there are many different techniques you can look up online for that, like visual grounding. But meditation, It's funny, Chris hopped back on here because he's really good with meditation too. Meditation, your guides are saying, is not, and this is true in most cases. It's not about clearing your mind, having it completely quiet, and then popping in to extrasensorial experiences, at least right off the bat. Okay, you have to get through a period of the mind racing, you observing your thoughts as they flow out of you. That is the beginning, like, right? You're like chucking through all that stuff. It's moving through. It's being able to breathe deep, be present, allow to see, gently usher it out. So you're not doing anything wrong. That is the, very much a part of meditation. Does that make sense?
Journaling helps too. Yeah. My best time that I meditate, when I actually want to like lay down and meditate, is I do yoga first. So I'm moving my body and opening it up, and then also giving it a job. And at the end, when you do Shavasana, I always because I'll do this at home. Sometimes like when nobody's awake. And at the very end of yoga, you do Shavasana, you lay down, and I just turn off my yoga program, my TV, whatever, and just lay there. And I'm able to quiet my mind because I just moved my body. So I thought that might actually help you if you're able to do some type of yoga. Yeah,
because that's what they're saying. Like for you, you just got so much energy. You have a lot of you pull in a lot of energy. So there's a lot you need to clear before you can really kind of pull yourself into that deeper state. So that's what you should be practicing. Removing, clearing a lot of that excess energy that's in you. And the only way that you're going to be able to do that and continue to get better at the meditative practice is setting that intention. I'm going to meditate, because then you can prep and prepare yourself to remove that excess energy and so on and so forth. Yeah, I agree. Aaron said journaling helps too. It does. And I found this one technique I saw this chick do, and boy, did it make a difference. I have a hard time journaling because it feels like it takes too long. It feels very 3D when my mind is moving so much faster than my hand or the pen, so on and so forth.
And she's a neat writer, so when she writes, she has to write very neat. For me, I just scribble and I try to decipher it later. I'm like, I can write really fast.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me. Yeah.
I can't do that.
No.
I only do that if I'm writing out a channel. But so what happens is, what she said to do is, she was like, when you start to journal and you're putting in all these filler stuff, say it in your head, but just on the paper, right? Just the make little lines like you're writing as you're saying it in your head. She was like, there's so much filler stuff that we're writing in there. If you come across a thought that you're like, oh, I want to keep that, then she was like, actually write that down. Then write that part down. But then just keep writing the lines as you're speaking it out in your head. Freaking game changer for me. Game changer. And what I found was I was able to write so much more than it, even though there's scribbles, right? Because I wasn't being held captive by my hand, my physical hand, in this pen. And eventually the thoughts stopped flowing, and all of a sudden I was in this complete presence. And I was like, that's it. Yeah. That's it. I freaking unlocked it. That's how I do it. Right? So that's another.
It's like giving yourself permission to flow.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, and automatic writing, it allows that for that to come out. I know this one client I had seen in the past, he was telling me, he actually came to me because he had a message come through when he was doing he's like, I just started writing everything that came to my mind. And then all of a sudden a message came out, and he was like, it didn't come from me. It came from his subconscious, and it bugged him out. And he was, because it was something about him, and it was actually about his sexuality. And he was like, I didn't know this about myself, and now I'm questioning everything. So it doing that unlocked a piece of him that was waiting to come out by just kind of doodling and kind of just my sisters and I used to play this game when, my one sister and I always shared a room. And we would play this game when we were growing up. We would always have these weird little games we would play when we were trying to fall asleep. And or we would sing songs, it was just, I'm sure my parents loved it. But the one game we would play was close your eyes, and whatever words pop into your head, just let them come out. And we would say the weirdest things, and we still text it. Sometimes we still text each other, at night before bed if I'm like, we're talking late and just whatever is in there. So it's like Purple Monkey dishwasher, comes out. And, but it's like, we don't like words and things are flowing through us at all times. And sometimes you let that out and there's other stuff underneath of there. It's like that jumbled mess. It's energy. Like all day long, we're in and out, hearing words, speaking words. Yeah. And like, if you can let that have an outlet to get that out, then you can get to the meat under it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like clearing energy, clearing the way first for the good stuff to come out.
Absolutely. Because that's, look, I'm going to drop a dime. I'm going to drop a gem for y'all. This is like, okay, so listen. The biggest secret to winning the game of life, okay, because it really, it's an experience. We think game, but it really is, okay? To win at life, to unlock the secrets to who you are into life, into these experiences that you want to hold, is to master the mind. That's it. Because everything is beyond the mind. But the mind runs itself. Like, so many people believe their sense of self is their mind. So the mind is what's running the show. When you can learn to control your mind, control your thoughts, is a game changer. Game changer. You start unlocking, you start unlocking secrets and doors everywhere.
It's utilizing the mind as the tool that it is. It's a tool.
It is such a powerful tool that has been given to us here in this existence, in this world, in this meat suit. And holy cow, the shit you can do with it when you use it as a tool. Okay? Not your sense of self.
Right. It's the command center, and it's about finding the commander, and that is your conscious self. That's so hot.
Yeah, that's why you always hear people say, be present. Don't, clear your mind, clear your thoughts because that's how, to get to the part where you are learning to use your mind as a tool means that you have to find who you are first. And really that is just acknowledging that you are not your mind and that you're the one behind running the show. And that strengthens and gets deeper and more solid within you the more and more that you heal yourself. You find that.
You'll find yourself just watching the mind play out its patterns and its programs when a stress or a trigger or something comes into your reality, and you can actually walk the mind through it, and you ask it questions, and you start asking like, okay, well, why are we responding this way? Are we really upset about this, or are we just running off of an old pattern? Yeah. Like, did this person really hurt us, or is this from somebody else in the past who hurt us? Or is the way that we're interpreting this, is this really how we want to see this situation? Yeah. And but this is what we're going to be teaching in our shadow work class this Saturday, because this is what it is. It's like, okay, these are all the things that you have to do to get to where you are trying to go. Because when we get a taste of that, when you start to awaken and you get a taste of reality, which a lot of people see as spirituality, gifts, so on and so forth, you want that. Well, there's a way to get there. Okay, there are steps you have to take. It is a process. And shadow work is a huge one, and it's where you're meant to start. Right. We always think that we have to start by like building and following those clair abilities or the intuitive things that we're like led to. But those things enhance, even meditation enhances as a byproduct of doing the shadow work, of releasing those things that are actually working as like a cover up. It's like as if our trauma, our baggage, our patterns, and our core beliefs and limiting beliefs are each one's a blanket that's been put over our divine self, our soul that is like this bright shining star within us. And each one has blanketed and made it darker and darker. It's like thicker and thicker. And so as you start to remove each one, you do the healing and you remove each one, that light can shine through more and more. And then you are operating from your soul self, and it becomes easier. It becomes easier to get information. It becomes, I didn't get clairaudience by doing all the I did meditations, I did classes, I read books, and my clairaudience is like really coming in strong, especially this past year, because it didn't start with that. And it's so like surprising to me how I didn't have to try. I just
Hi,
did the
Rach.
work and then
Welcome
started
home.
listening. I did the work and started listening as it came in.
Yeah.
You know? And it just comes in on its own. My clairvoyance came in on its own. See, I love, like, we have such different stories because Andrea's stuff really, like, came on very strongly, like she was talking about in the beginning. And a lot of her gifts she's had since she was little. Mine, I know I've always had them, but I didn't understand that what I was getting, like, certain feelings I was having were clair abilities. But I wanted clairvoyance.
Thank you, love.
I wanted clairvoyance. I wanted clairaudience. I saw other people doing these things. I saw Long Island medium, Teresa Caputo, and I was drawn to mediums. I would go and work with mediums. I would study under mediums. And I literally had a woman sitting with me. I paid $1,000 to have a day with this woman so she could teach me. And I remember her sitting there and she's like, what are you getting? And I was like, nothing. Nothing is in here. And I had a lot of beautiful realizations that day, and it was all part of the path and the process. But I was like, I was expecting to leave with clairaudience. I was expecting to leave with clairvoyance, and it didn't happen, and it was very frustrating. But then I started to do the shadow work, and then it all came in. I can see things, I can feel things, I can smell them, I can taste them, I can hear them, and I can know them.
Yeah.
And it's not hard. It's not hard, and they get better and stronger every single day, and I don't have to try.
Yeah.
It's pretty hot.
It is. That it is.
So it can be discouraging to think like I have to work backwards first to be able to move forward, but the universe is going to make you do it anyway. You might as well do it on your terms. Because the universe will pull you to what needs to release and clear, and you can do it kicking and screaming, or you can say, I'm gonna do this, and you can run head first into the storm and get out the other side a whole lot faster.
Yeah.
And that is our shadow work class. Sign up in link in bio.
Yeah.
Done. And rant.
And rent. Aaron said, I asked for a sign today to make sure I was on the right path, and I got 777 on the license plate.
Love when that
Get
happens.
it, girl.
Yes.
Get
you
it,
totally
girl.
are. Yes, you are. Yeah. You have conversations with yourself in your mind. Yes. All the time.
All the time. I even talk to myself out loud.
Yeah. And the more confident you get in yourself, you just don't give a fuck. You just like, I don't care anymore. I go outside. Like yesterday, I was telling her I went outside, and I know you guys we were talking about making a 3 Little Birds shirt, like from the Bob Marley song, 3 Little Birds. And it's like that. Every little thing is gonna be all right. But anyway, that's one of our signs. And I walked outside the other morning, and there were 3 birds on our front lawn. And when I walked out, they flew up and landed on like the telephone wire. And I was like, "Oh, good morning, 3 little birds." And then I like look around and I'm like,
Yeah.
do our neighbors think we're good? Oh, good morning, there you are.
Well, yeah, that's better, because I will straight up be like, hey, Raphael, hey, Michael. Because it's always Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, and Archangel Gabriel for us. They always show up as the 3 of them. And they always come usually like in crows or blackbird. Usually they're crows. And they always land on the telephone poles. Mm-hmm. Wires, like right in front of us.
Out.
Right in front of us. You know, it's like, it's, yeah.
Yeah.
Those
so
aren't
beautiful.
just coincidences.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Feel that. I'm trying to help my aunt tap in, and she says that too. It's a lot of work for her. So for like the releasing first, loosen the grip and go with the flow. I love that, Erin. The clinic I took my son to today has stories of activities, and man, did I have a headache when I was there.
Oh, wow.
What kind of activities? So were you like picking up other people's stuff? For me, I see
Stories of activity. Like,
what does that mean?
so the clinic, like, you mean like spiritual activity? Like spirit activity?
Oh, okay. For me, I see a blue jay and I just say, "Hey, Grandma," and it's what it is. Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Did you clear yourself when you came out of there?
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Peace and love to you too, Jonathan Davis. Yeah.
Yeah, it's you know, like with the was it Lainey who said, yeah. No, wait. Tap in. She says it's a lot of work for her. Yeah. So,
Good job, Erin.
Good
We're on the
job.
grass right now. That's why I was feeling off today. I wanted to go for a walk, and we were going to, but we had a crazy morning, and we wanted to take you guys for a walk with us, and it didn't work out. And I think my body was like ready for that. And so when I first got on, I was like, because I was ready to connect with the nature. Anyway, sorry, you were gonna say.
No, I forgot what I was gonna say.
I totally cut you off. We were talking about like the signs and birds, and
I was just gonna talk about like our gifts and abilities, and like, you know, especially now for those that are coming online, it's a lot easier for those than it was for like when we started coming online, for sure.
Yeah.
And so I was just gonna say some tips and tricks for like being clairaudient, like being able to hear things. A lot of times when you are clairaudient, you don't even realize that you're getting messages because a lot of times people think, I have clients all the time, they're like, but I thought it was going to sound different than my voice. It will eventually. It's all about asking the right questions and critiquing this shit to your own benefit. Okay. I had a really difficult time being able to decipher that for myself when my clairaudience, like when I was really started to try and develop it. And I would always say to my, when I have new beings come up, like the angels and so on and so forth, I'm like, can you please, when you are communicating with me, can you put a different tone to the voice and personality so that I can differentiate it from me? And that works. Okay. So now they all have their own tone of voice. There's a tone. There's like Archangel Raphael has a slightly British accent. When he comes through.
Like, is it British or is it like Irishish? When I've heard him come out of your mouth, he sounded more Irish, like Gaelic.
Yeah, maybe.
But he might sound different. He might sound
right.
different in your head. I don't know.
You're probably right.
He's actually spoken through her before, and like, it's hilarious.
Yeah, like,
because she just comes out with an accent all of a sudden, and I'm like, okay.
When I channel,
but then I know it's him.
Yeah,
I know it's him.
It's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We should do that as for like a maybe like a, I don't know. I was thinking like,
would
for
you
like
channel
a subscriber.
like?
I don't know if I would channel live on here because it's just.
Oh yeah, it's like draining and it's vulnerable.
But that would be cool to like.
No, like record it and like, for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be.
For like our subscribers, or do it on the podcast or something.
Right here. Oh, my aunt has always been afraid of experiencing spirit, but all of the family experiences it.
And she finally decided to open up, so it's exciting times.
Oh, that's exciting.
A lot of people are just scared. Like a lot of people, especially if you like experience things when you were younger, and you like a lot of people turn that stuff off when it gets scary. You know, either they saw something that was scary, or they were told that it wasn't like that they were evil or wrong or
that happens for a lot of people that are clairvoyant at a very, very young age as a child, where they just, it's traumatic for them and they get scared and they'll shut it off.
Yeah.
And then go this whole time not even realizing that they, you know, their clairvoyance is online.
Yeah. We had a really cool experience a couple years ago with Andrea. This was a healing moment for her. We would get beings wanting to channel, like send energy messages through her, and that were not the angels. They're like ETs or whoever. And she would get really freaked out. And she's like, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. And I was like, when did you start being like afraid of these beings? And it was, she had a memory of you were like little in your bed, and
I was like 2.5, 3 years old.
In your crib, yeah.
I was in my crib. Well, I at least had the bars, but I remember the crib comforter, and I remember like being under it and just being like so scared because they were in my room and touching my bed. And is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I legit started crying.
Yeah,
like, while I'm talking
really
to her,
scared.
I was really scared.
Yeah. And I was like, ask them who they were. Like, go back, ask them who they were. And the messages that came through, they were like, we were checking your vitals. Like, we are your star family, and we were checking on you to make sure you were safe and you were healthy and you were all these things. Mm-hmm. And that was like a big healing moment, because her child perception was, this is scary, they're in my space. But in reality, like now with an adult rational mind, you could like look back and see like, oh, they were there taking care of me, you know?
Yeah, the ETs did not come back to me until well into my awakening. I'd say probably like right when we were
met? Yeah, I brought them in for you.
They started coming back because I had a lot of fear. I knew that they were around. Like I used to have like experiences where I would be taken out of my bed. But it was the craziest thing because it was like right when I would start to remember it, it would get like sucked right out, so I wouldn't have as much remembrance. And then they started playing it through my dreams, which I so appreciate now. Like, I would just see them. I would see them come up to my house, and I would like get up and look in my window, and I knew I was like, they're here. And I would see like the ships and stuff, but it was dreams. But then it was later when I was in my awakening going through all this that they told me, no, it was actually happening, but this is, we put it in a dream so that it didn't freak you out. I don't have any bad experiences with ETs. They're family. They feel like family.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. That's for a whole nother live.
Yeah.
If you guys want to hear about that, but.
Noonie said, at a young age, I noticed I was gifted, just needed to be guided too. So excited to
Yes.
start learning. Yay.
Yes.
And then somebody else asked, do you do mediumship live? How much? Laura, all of our information is in our bio, our link in bio. We have all of our services. So we have like shorter mediumship sessions, longer ones. And then we have energy analysis and healing sessions. Different shapes and sizes, and so there's a lot of different.
We even have to ask your spirit council, so you can
just ask a question.
Ask a question and then get a pre-recorded.
Yeah. So there's lots of options in there. Rach said the craziest thing happened to me yesterday. My son drew a dream that drew a dream that I have been dreaming. Oh, he drew a picture of a dream that you've been having.
Sorry, we're getting caught up here.
Yeah, and somebody was talking about a bird. I think they're having realizations about like Jays and stuff. I love that. So yeah, Rach, what was that? So he drew a picture of something that you saw in a dream. Don't you love when that happens?
Mm-hmm. Oh, right here. I've been going through my life and explained, and I understood exactly what he was talking about.
Oh, wow.
Does that mean he's helping me through the process of my awakening, or can he also be gifted? He's gifted.
It's both, I think.
He's gifted. All of your children are gifted. I'm just attesting to that because I've seen them in your video, and yes, they are.
They will bring through messages and stuff for you to remind you of that miracles are real. I know you already know this, but they'll bring through these messages to remind you of that connection. Because no matter how much you do this work, when something pops in as a miracle, you're still in awe. It's so it's so hard to normalize the miracles. We had one the other night. The whole sky was covered in clouds, and we showed a picture of this yesterday. We have had clouds every single day, and we just wanted to see the moon. And we decided to go out for a walk, and there's the moon in one opening, and it's right there for us. And not only that, we had just been told that day to look for iridescent tags that our bestie Queen Bee told us to look for, and there was this iridescent glow around the moon on the clouds. And we were like, what? And then we went for our walk and came back, could not see the moon at all, completely covered back over, and not even light from it. So we were like, that opened up just for us. At that moment that we walked outside, it was for us. Yeah. It was the coolest thing.
Becky said his nickname was Jay because he had no middle name, so they would call him Jaybird. Lainey said, those younger experiences can be scary when you don't know, so I totally get it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. They are.
And you sometimes have to go back and heal those. That's sometimes part of the shadow work.
Yeah, because it was after I had healed that, that they started coming in freely and all of those memories started coming back in. And then that's where they were explaining your dreams weren't really dreams, but we put it in a dream state, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Sometimes you can't be open to the information. You're blocked because you have that belief, this is scary, so I close it off. I still haven't found where in my life I shut things down because I do believe that I was maybe more open as a little kid, and I don't know when I shut that down. other than like physical experiences I went through that made me feel like I wasn't enough. I wasn't worthy of love or attention. And so that could have been it. But I still haven't had, I know a lot of people are like, I came in fully remembering all these things, and I don't have memories of that, nor do I have a memory of like when I shut them down.
You do. You know where you shut it down.
Where?
When you shut down your empathy.
Oh, see, that like looks different to me.
It
I'm
shut
wondering
it
if
all
I
down.
saw things though, ever. Because I have been the jumpiest person my whole life. Like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. There's like, I had put this thing in place. Like, I don't want to see things.
Let's catch up on these because we're getting a little behind on these. Okay, guys, we're going to try and catch up.
Unless it was that mine just, I felt things very deeply, and so I did try to shut that off because I didn't want to feel pain, because I would feel pain when I spent a whole day crying at school one day because of something I heard on the news one morning, and my mom had to like explain to my teachers that I wasn't like being abused or anything. Like, I literally was just, I heard something on the radio and it shook my world. It was just something sad that happened to a kid, and I cried for the next couple days. And then people started to like show me, hey, crying is like weak, crying is undesirable. And then I spent a lot of time trying to show people that I was strong. And so like sometimes those things, you do shut them down in a different way. Like shutting down your clairsentience, like ability to feel, is just as big as shutting down your clairvoyance, clairaudience, all those things.
Yeah.
And it just depends on your experience.
Oh, look, Laura put, oh my God, my late husband was Jay, named Jaybird.
Oh,
That's
wow.
so crazy. Aww. Wow. Well, tell me that's not a message for you too. Of him coming through. Aww.
I don't know how they got on
Aaron
that
said, I'm
topic
sure
of-
my parents thought I was crazy. I think all of our parents thought we were batshit crazy.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I remember
That's
telling my
crazy.
mom one time, I was like,
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. We were in the car one time and I told my mom, I was like,
catch up on these?
yeah.
We're like 6 behind.
Well, we don't have,
Sorry. I just want to make sure we miss, because look,
Yeah,
Michelle
yeah.
came in. Good morning, Michelle.
it's like,
I don't remember my childhood.
Yeah.
I don't remember mine either. Nene. Like the more you heal,
Then
like
more,
you'll get
yeah.
more will come back on. But yeah.
I
Okay.
told my mom one time in the car that I wasn't afraid to die, and she was really pissed. She was like, why would you say that? And I'm like, I'm not. I was like, I'll be dead. Why would I care? And she was like, don't talk like that. Yeah. She still would probably say the same. Why are you dead? Don't talk like that. I'm like, but I'm not. I'm not afraid. I was like, why? I'll be dead. Why would I care? My favorite childhood memory is of swimming. Oh, and that may
Mine too.
remind you of past or parallel lives on planets where you are aquatic.
Valerie, have you ever heard of starseeds? Have you ever heard of a starseed? What a starseed is?
It also, like, swimming reminds you of like your weightlessness. You know, it's one of like the closest ways to be connected with your innate abilities to not be attached to gravity. You know.
You should look into Syrian starseed.
Yeah. Michelle, your morning lives are so nice. It's helping my morning loneliness.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah.
Welcome back home.
Oh, thank you, Erin. Erin said
hang
you're never
here.
alone.
You're never
Yeah.
alone, right?
And hopefully this reminds you that like you're part, if you're here and you're drawn to this stuff, like you're part of something really big. This interwoven tapestry of there are other beings out there like you. Right. And I know they may not be in your immediate reality, but the more that you connect back to yourself, the more they will show up. And you will feel more connected to yourself and your spirit team. And then those feelings of loneliness start to dissipate. Hello, Dante.
Hello.
I know it's different because we have a million kids, but I'm like, I haven't felt alone in a really long time. And I miss having that feeling sometimes because I don't feel like I have time to feel alone. Sometimes I crave it. So it's interesting how you can have both sides of the spectrum, you know? Mm-hmm. Although I wouldn't trade them for the world, but sometimes it's just like, it's all about balance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was something else I was gonna add to that.
I used to tell my kids when they were little, because they'd be like, but I don't want to sleep in my room. I don't like being alone. And I was like, you're never alone.
I know, right?
Your angels are always with you. Like when I was like really frustrated. Talk to your angels. Go. Just stay in your bed. I need to sleep.
It is so hard. It is so hard to stay in that like slay mom mode that you know you're like, I'm slaying it at being a mom today. You know, like I'm doing a really good job. I'm being what they need, what they deserve. But come nighttime, man, when they're pushing 30 minutes past their bedtime and then they want to add on 15 extra things, I'm like, breathe. And I'm like, I'm not reading another book. I've already read 2 books. I've already done energy work. I've done all the energy work. You didn't clear my eyes. I'm not clearing your eyes. I'm going now. I love you. Like, that's how I'm like, I can't.
He pulls on all your like spirit things because he knows that you'll be into that. And he's like, can we pull a card together? Can we pull an angel card? And she's like, you're drawn in because you're like, well, that is something that I like to do. And he knows. He's like, can you clear my energy? I know you like doing that. Michelle said she's going through divorce 50-50 with my kids after 17 years together. I just want to tell you like how much we feel for you and resonate with you. We've been through that, and like it is so hard.
Girlfriend, I'm going through the same exact thing. I was in my marriage for 16 years and I have 3 children. So,
and I was in mine, I don't know, 12, 13 years, something like that. And my kids are 50-50 now, and I still get sad and like really, it's very sad. Like when you're, especially like when you're, I'm not saying that dads don't go through this too, but there's something with like that maternal, if whoever in a relationship has the maternal instinct, the feminine instinct, like you're like, I'm supposed to be looking after you. And so when you send them with somebody else, like even if it is their father, it's like, this doesn't feel right. I'm supposed to be watching you at all times.
There's this connection that gets torn. It feels like it gets torn, and it is the worst feeling in the world. It's like the worst thing, and you feel like you know all the things that you try to do as a mother and be as a mother and the ideals and stuff that you have for your children kind of go out the window, because there's another person that has 50% of the say and 50% of the things that they're going to do. And I know, at least in our experiences, the exes are the complete opposite of us. Mine, there's a lot of toxicity there. And as like for right now, I'm going through court battle. So it's hard.
Yeah. But I just want you to know, because when we were going, like, it's easy to get like sucked into this stuff. Like when it's happening, you feel like it's happening to you.
Why did you do that?
It was a couple things. It was just like a couple things that were on. Yeah. So you have to remember, and if use this as your, like, just even if you don't feel it, just tell yourself this. Your kids have a divine plan. Like there's a divine path for them as well. And even when it looks really like you, especially when you're like now having to release that control, that feeling of like, I know that they're safe. I have them. It's one of the biggest growth lessons, because we have to start trusting that they're going to find their way on their path with or without us. And we do the best that we can, but we can't be responsible for everything they go through, because especially I think in this day and age, we are the generation that was like, okay, we are realizing we have trauma and we're trying to change it, and especially try to change it for our kids. And that didn't happen before. Our parents really didn't do that stuff. I mean, maybe a little bit, but this is kind of newer. And so we want for our kids to not have to go through that stuff, but really like, we also want them to have the experiences that will make them who they are. And we can't stop those things from happening if it is divinely guided. And so sometimes it's a lesson in like letting go and just trusting the universe, trusting that all of this is for their highest good, even though it looks the opposite. You know?
It's crazy. Like when you start to go through the one thing. Okay. So this is what I feel like I've learned from this, and maybe this is something that you can look into. Like mine is shifting again, but for you, Michelle, is that knowing and trusting that everything is happening exactly the way that it's supposed to. And those days where you have that 50% of where it's just you, ask yourself, what am I to do with this? Because there's very much a reason for this being in your life. Is this your time where you do your healing work? Is this the time where you reconnect with yourself again? And that you're learning how to be self-sufficient in your own emotions, and that you're stepping out of that title, at least just for those few days, okay? That title of being a mom and being you again. Because that is such a blessing for your children as well, okay? Because they're going to need you, like, they're going to rely on you. They're going to, like, all of those things, but they're also going to eventually grow and be gone out of the house for good, you know? And so it's not just about preparing for that, but there is a very specific reason why you are experiencing this right now. And I really feel like it is about you doing the healing work, you learning that you, as much as you give to others, it's time to give that to yourself too. And really stepping back into yourself as a wholeness, as oneness. Because again, like how Lindsay said, if you're here right now, you're a part of a bigger plan. Okay? Because like draws like, this energy, every single person that's in here right now is big. You're a part of a big plan. And so everyone, no matter what stage or part of your journey that you're on that journey for a reason, because you're stepping back into your oneness, back into your remembrance, back into who you are, so that you can then serve and do what you came here to do. So it kind of lines up and goes hand in hand with that.
Sometimes you will be pushed into something that feels uncomfortable, but it is so that you can come back to yourself. And that's what we saw in the beginning of us coming together, was that all of a sudden we had every other weekend where it was just the two of us. And that was really important for our healing and our growth and our relationship and everything that we needed to like come together, because we had time. And at some point that started to change when it was no longer as necessary and dwindle off. And those, the kid time, the 50-50, all of that stuff slowly morphed and changed as we got more aligned with ourselves. The rest does come back into balance the way that it is supposed to be.
Yeah. And I'm not saying like, I just from my personal experience, because I know that there are many situations out there where people co-parent beautifully, and you know, they can learn to agree to disagree or get along or so on and so forth. You know, for me, when my children would leave, not only did I have that like pain and that emptiness feeling, I also was really, really concerned for their safety. And I was also being denied contact, which was in contempt, of course, but then you got to go to court. And, like, so I still went through all of these things when my kids weren't with me. I constantly had to worry, and I had to learn how to walk through that. Okay. So if you find yourself in that same situation, anyone does, you've got to learn to walk yourself through that, and you have to learn to then walk your children through it when they get home. But other than that, you can't let it swallow you up. You can't.
It's all for a reason. And like I said, like what Andrea was dealing with and going through, she did do the work, and she overcame, and she came through it, and she became so much stronger through it. And then all of a sudden, that toxicity kind of just like slowly dissipated. And as of now, it's not a part of our reality. When you heal yourself, toxic people can't be around you. They can't, because they don't vibrate on your level. They'll still try. They'll still try. But they will, the universe will find a way to make that separation happen, because they just don't.
It is hard.
Yeah. But they don't vibrate on your level. And so they start to fall away.
Do the work. Do the work
on
like
yourself. It's the best.
You know, there's
thing
a difference. There's a difference between coming to want, like, for some people it really is like realizing, okay, you know, this is the way that I want, but I'm learning to come into balance and let it be for the best and highest good of all, you know? And then you have, like in my situation where I was like, it literally mirrored back again, shadow work. I'm telling y'all. Got one more day. Get in this damn class, okay? Because
this Saturday is our shadow.
What I realized, I'm sitting here and I'm going through this with a man that was like, you know, did not really experience that in my marriage, and then like complete 360 change. And to be careful with what I say, but there was a lot, very, very valid, high reasoning for concern of their safety. They would come home and they would be a mess physically, mentally, and emotionally. Not being able to connect with all these things, okay? the more I was like, why? I was fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. And I'm like, no, like, I just keep screaming for that. And Lindsay was like, what does this remind you of? Hold on. Okay, hold on. I'm going to get to, I gotta stay focused.
Best video. Thank you for subscribing.
Yes.
Woo!
What does this remind me of? What does this remind me of? What does this remind me of? And I was like, I had to fight my entire childhood for people to hear me because I was being abused by my stepmom. And I would fight and fight and fight. And why isn't anybody listening to me? Why isn't anybody listening to me? And I was going through that same thing with my children. And then that's where
so you will see those things repeat and play out again.
Yep.
So that's part of why the shadow work is so important, because you got we help you get back to the source to figure out where did this start, and this is why it's still playing out. And
so I was like, what did I need then that I didn't get, right? All these things. And so I stopped fighting. I stopped fighting him. I stopped fighting for justice. I stopped, not really, but like I did in the right terms, right? And I started healing that. And I'm like, I started healing my children. I started doing for my children what needed to be done for me when I was that age. And it's slowly like, all of a sudden it was like, boop, 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 boop. And, you know, it's still a work in progress. And I'm still open because I want what's best for all involved. Okay. Not just like me, but where it's at right now, I have my children full time.
Yeah.
So.
And everything has been smooth. So. Yeah, but thank you so much, Best Video, for subscribing. Thank you.
Welcome to the tribe.
We are one step closer to our goal to do another raffle. So once we hit 20 subscribers, we're going to do a raffle and raffle off a energy body scan and healing. All right. Just now going through anger, shame, disgust of being molested by my dad. I'm 68. Wow. Well, good for you, number one, it doesn't matter when this starts. Doesn't matter. Like, everything is in divine timing. And this is, like, when was supposed to come up. But good for you for, like, going into that. If you need help walking through it, this is what we specialize in. Our services are in bio. But if you have any questions, let us know. But, like, we help people walk through this stuff because it can be really confusing and really, and hard. But, like, good for you, you know?
Yeah.
It's time. And it's time for you to stop carrying that baggage. Everything. Oh, Rach, welcome home. That's beautiful.
Rach. Y'all, that's
Thank you.
going into a shirt, because this is home.
I know,
We always say that. Welcome home.
Yeah. But we really, think about for 68 years, you've been carrying this bag on your shoulder, this heavy weight. And when that's lifted, it's even though it can be hard going back and facing those things, when that's it's literally coming up so that it can go. And then you don't have to be, you become a sovereign being again.
Yeah.
You lose because people still have power over us when we don't heal that trauma. We don't heal the memories. And we carry it with us, and it hampers every bit of our life. So when we start to release that, we become free again.
Yeah.
So we are so proud of you and sending you so much love. Thank you so much
for
subscribing.
It's 12:01.
Oh, look at
I was like, oh crap, we're over our time.
Yeah, this is a really nice day.
Yeah, it was.
We do need to wrap it up though. We got other stuff we gotta do. Yeah. So yeah, thank you guys all for joining, especially for our newbies, our new tribe members. Thank you for subscribing, Best Video. We're so thankful to have you.
We love you all so much.
And Valerie!
Woo!
Valerie! We're two
guys!
closer. Yay!
Welcome home, y'all.
Woo!
Welcome home.
Thank you, Valerie.
2 more.
We're so happy to have you.
We get two more, guys.
We can do our raffle.
Throwing in another raffle.
Oh, I
Throwing
love
the
that,
names
Erin.
in the bucket, old school style.
She's our quote lady.
Yes.
Welcome home. You're never alone.
Never alone.
Yes.
Never alone.
Yes. Oh, we love
It's
you
all right,
guys so
Becky.
much.
We're here. We're here. Love.
Yeah, we're not going anywhere.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you,
Martin. And Becky, remember, for any of our services, we do have payment plan options. We can make them super easy, and we can fit to anything. So please reach out to us if there's something you're looking for. We'll find a way to get it for you. Okay?
Yeah.
We'll make it work for you. All right.
All right. Well, and for those that are new, if you're not you're new here, we are live Monday through Friday. 10 a.m.
Oh,
10-ish. We try so hard. Okay. But 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Times vary, as you can see. We aren't slaves to the concept of time, so that's why
We just pop in when we feel like it.
This
but
Earth realm is
our
a
goal
bitch.
is always 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. So, yeah, that's what
My
we should
clocks
say.
are always wrong here.
We should say that. Like, we are on approximately 10 a.m.
Yeah.
to 11:30 a.m. every day, Eastern Standard, Monday through Friday. Yeah. And don't forget to check out our class, check out our services. And the podcast, new podcast episode is airing tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. So keep an eye out for that. And
Podcast is I Am Aware now on
Yes.
Spotify.
yeah. So, that's a good idea to give them the name. That's
Yeah.
helpful. Yeah. You're so smart.
Yeah.
And don't forget to check out our merch. Check out our new chakra shirt that we have out. The aligned chakra shirt.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Andrea designed it herself. It's gorgeous. So, all
You're
right.
welcome, Michelle.
All right, Becky.
All right, Becky.
We're gonna do a abundance class, and we gotta get you in there.
Well, she's saying because her money, she's still
I know
waiting
she's
for her money
waiting
to
for
come in.
yeah. So
Yeah.
just Becky, stay in a space of gratitude.
Yep.
Don't think about the money. Think about how grateful you are for like everything in your day. The vibration of gratitude is the same vibration of abundance.
And Becky, look, I know this is hard. I know this is hard because you're used to fighting for yourself, and waiting for it to come in. And you're like, come on, when is it coming in? When is it coming in? Look, you're pushing it. You're pushing it
too
away.
hard. You're pushing too hard.
pushing it away. And
Yeah.
I know this sucks. But every time you start doing that, I want you to stop and I want you to visualize yourself walking out to the mailbox and opening up that mailbox, and there it is. Keep doing that. Like, you know how the kids used to get in trouble and they're like, I want you to write, I will not do this 30 times. I want you to visualize 30 every time. Visualize that. Walk out the door. Walk out the door. Like, feel the dew on the ground. Okay. See the leaves falling. See a leaf falling and you're like, wow, that looks like money. That smells like money.
It's coming
right?
from the trees.
You walk out and you're like, I'm so grateful. I am provided for. I am taken care of. As you're walking to this mailbox, you open up the mailbox, boom, there's a check. You're like, great. Grabbing my keys. I'm going to the car. I'm now going to the bank. I'm in the bank. I'm in the teller line. How y'all doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I've been blessed today. Here it is. It's right here. Right? You put it in. They hand you the receipt. You see the number on your receipt. This is how much is in your bank account. And you feel safe and secure. Picture this. Okay? Picture this. You got
Hi,
this.
Nancy, we're actually hopping off.
Yeah.
But hi, we're so glad we saw you. I was gonna say,
Do that. I'm serious.
Put a date on the calendar for the day that you're gonna go drop the money off at the bank. Although you may do mobile deposit.
You
but-
have, it's the hardest thing. This is what we were talking about earlier with like controlling that mindset. Okay? It is freaking hard because we've created beliefs already. Again, another thing in the shadow class, I'm telling you. But you've got to change that. You've got to change it. You can do this. You can do this.
Yes. All right, we're going to leave you with that.
Yes.
All
We
right.
love you all.
We love you all. Don't forget who you are. Look at yourself in the mirror today and say, do you know who you are? Do you know who you are? Yeah.
Badass
big,
spiritual
big
baddie.
badass soul. All right. We love you guys so much.
Love
Thank you.
you.
And thank you so much for all of our new tribe members. We have
Yes.
subscriber only chat on Tuesdays, so make sure you're here for that. All right.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon. And thank you all for sharing the love today.
See you all tomorrow.
Have a great day.